Yeah. Our guy on the other end is not. He's still asleep. So.
Is it better for me to look directly out there or just look to this?
I'll have it in here, so you go look directly at me. It's no problem. Okay, I am with Thomas from Cryptic Studios, makers of the great Star Trek Online MMO, also owners of Champions Online and soon to be Neverwinter Nights. So, Thomas, last night I was broadcasting from the meet and greet that we had, and I was getting a lot of questions about what is Star Trek Online. So could you please give a quick overview of what Star Trek Online involves?
Sure. Star Trek Online is a massively multiplayer game set in the Star Trek universe. It's set about 40 or 50 years after Star Trek Nemesis, and it's set in the original Star Trek timeline. It has nothing to do with like the J.J. Abrams, the new movie, or anything like that. So it's continuing the next generation Voyager Deep Space Nine storyline about 50 years in advance. It's a massively multiplayer game where every player is a captain. They have their own starship and they have a crew that they command. You can fly around in space. There's a space part where you control your own ship, and as you level up, you get better and better ships. And there's also a ground component where you beam down and do away missions with either a bridge officer, crew of bridge officers, or a team of other players, 5 people. And it's a lot of fun. We just added a new shooter mode in the game that kind of makes it play a little bit like Mass Effect on the ground. Space combat's really fun. It's a little bit of little strategic with the powers that you use, and you have shield facings. So depending on which way your ship is turned, you might have stronger weapon arcs in one area. So that's a little tactical, and the ground is a bit more actiony now. So it's a good balance. A lot of different gameplay.
And one of the things I like in the game is you get a lot of perspective of not just TNG, things related to TNG, there's things related to Voyager, there's things related to DS9, there's even things from the old series, there's the Guardian for Forever in the game at one point in time, and I've done that mission. There's even Mirror Universe, there's Species, I can never remember the number. 472. There's potentially new aliens as well that you run into.
Sure.
Now, what races and sides are there in the game?
Okay, so Star Trek Online is a two-faction game where you have the Federation is the main faction, then you have Klingons, which there's some PvE content, and they do a lot of PvP. And within those two main factions, you can play a bunch of races from the shows. You can be Vulcan, you can be a Tellarite, Andorian, Trill, Liberated Borg, Boolean, Benzite.
Yeah,
we got some obscure guys in there.
Yeah.
On the Klingon side, you can be Klingon, Orion, Nausicaan, Lethean, and I think a few
Gorn.
Huh?
Gorn,
yeah, can't forget about the Gorn.
Can't forget the Gorn.
Which the Gorn are awesome. So we have a lot of different species to pick from, and Cryptic's really known for character customization. So within all of those options, you can have, if you're an Andorian, you can have different types of antenna or change your skin color, different shades of blue.
Well, I know for a fact because I was a pre-order person. I have a female Klingon captain as my main character who's wearing the Mirror Universe outfit.
Right.
So, I mean, there's a lot of different customization you can do with that. Now, you have a little bit of a hybrid model with this as well, where you use the Cryptic points that you can buy some additional pieces as well, like the Borg. I know as a character, you can buy that. You get a lot of base stuff in the game, but you can add more to it. You can get different outfits from the different eras, from the different movies or whatever, by the Cryptic points, which I think is a great idea. It's the best of both worlds. How many planets and types of missions are there? I should ask.
Okay.
I know there's a lot. There's a ton, but just some basic overview.
So a basic overview. The flagship of Star Trek Online, if you will, are featured episodes, which is a relatively new concept we started adding to the game, where Every once in a while, we'll do a series of 5 missions that come out every week. So it's like watching Star Trek on TV. You know, you would set aside a time every week. And it's like, I know when the next Star Trek's going to be on. We started to do that in the game, and we're trying to ramp those up and deliver a lot more of those. But we did a feature mission series about the Breen, about the Davidians, and but so the feature episodes are very story-driven. We have some cutscenes in those, and very dynamic, fun to play with the group. And then we also have lots of like exploration content where you just go in a sector and you find planets and leap down. You can scan things or defend bases from attack.
Right. So there's set missions that we have in the game that have a storyline to them in a lot of cases.
Right.
Morel Paris being a major character, for example, the daughter of Tom and B'Elanna. Yeah, my tongue is getting stuck today.
Yeah.
But there's also random content. You could go into a sector, search. You could be getting mineral resources. You could be fighting pirates. You could be doing all sorts of other things. So you have a mix of missions to do in the game. There's also a crafting system, right?
Yeah, there's a crafting system. That's part of the exploration content. Is you find anomalies and you scan the anomalies and you get crafting resources you can use to trade for high quality items. Back to the content that we don't forget to mention the Foundry.
Oh God, yeah. Well, I was about ready to get to that.
Okay, great.
The Foundry is where the players can create their own missions.
Yep.
And it's there are only a couple other games that have actually allowed the players to actually make their own missions and put them out there.
Right.
And you actually will feature the best ones that you guys come across, right?
Yeah. So I think the Foundry, in a way, is kind of the best kept secret of Star Trek Online, but I think it's probably one of our best features because it lets players, it gives them a pretty robust tool set, letting them make their own missions and share those missions with other players. Now, as compared to like City of Heroes, which has done this, in our game, these aren't like side missions, these aren't tucked away in some computer or something. You actually go to the real locations in the game and do these missions and talk to the real characters in the game. So you can hook up your missions to Vulcan or whatever, and people go to Vulcan.
An example of that, guys, is I went to, because I haven't done the Crystalline Entity mission yet because it was extremely hard when I was around doing it. I went back there and I found at least about 12 to 15 more missions all hooked to that same anomaly.
Wow. Yeah, the Foundry's really great, and there's a lot of really good content there. There's a really good community based around it. So Cryptic will, every once in a while, we'll feature a mission that we promote, we put on our website. But there are also resources like Starbase UGC and other websites devoted to helping players build their own Foundry missions and review and share Foundry missions too. So that's a great community.
Yeah. And like I said, I've had a lot of fun with it, and I'm back in it again, and I'm glad I came back, and I'm hopefully can get some more. Now, I'm going to ask the infamous question, trials. Is there any idea behind doing another trial, like a 30-day trials or a 15-day or 10-day trial?
I can't really talk about it, but
yeah, okay.
Trust me in saying we want to make it really easy for people to try out.
Yeah.
We haven't forgotten about that.
Excellent. Okay, well, thank you very much, Thomas, for talking with me today.
Thanks again.
All right, thank you.